This is a report from a company that researches the statistics on the video game market in countries all over the earth. So we can clearly see the traditional mobile games, like the handhelds, like the Game Boys, all that kind of stuff. They only account for about 2% of sales, while mobile games, like $27 billion on the mobile phones and almost $10 billion. So combined, that's about 36 billion, 38. I mean, 30, yeah, 37, 30, yeah, something like 37, $38 billion. Um, and this is a market that keeps growing because if you look at the statistics for 2018 and, the statistics for 2018 are even worse. I mean, mobile games now account for literally um, $70 billion. They account for 51% of the market now in this land, in this industry. It's awful. It's absolutely atrocious. Now, these statistics aren't the same as the previous um, chart, but this, I mean, if we look at the tablet games, I don't know why they're counting tablet games separately because in 2016 they were kind of like their own. There were two separate categories, but now it's like everything has been combined into this mobile. But tablet is still kind of it's in its own little thing. But we're looking at about $80 billion, honestly. Um, so that's about 61% of the market is being controlled by these games now, and this is a very normie friendly platform. As I said, I'm a hardcore gamer. Look, here's the thing. When I say normie, I'm really talking about people that they kind of go with through life, not really questioning the status quo, kind of like, just picking up anything, like they don't understand the nuances of technology and how they can be used and how they manipulate them. That's kind of what I'm talking about. Those are the kind of people I'm talking about. These are the kind of people that we have to contend with as the serious consumer who actually demands better quality. They're the ones who keep giving these companies the money because they don't know any better. And we need to convince them that, if the video game industry is going to be taken seriously and if they want to get better quality games that aren't just money sinks, then they're going to have to hold these companies' feet to the fire so we can get better quality games, the games that we got in the past. Um, because to be honest, this is what a lot of people are playing these days. They may play some console games or whatnot, and console accounts for about maybe 25% around around the earth. But it's only getting its growth rate is slowing. Mobile games continue to grow, and tablet games are also growing. So what we're seeing is effectively the video games are being turned into this kind of, I don't know, casualization of the video game industry, whereas like in the 90s you had a great mix of many types of games. um, but there was a market. I think it was like a middle market, for a market where I feel like normies could play video games and they could still kind of be sophisticated. They weren't these money sinks, like games like Myst or other types of games like puzzle games, games that were designed to kind of tell a story in their own unique way with the technology of multimedia. But you just don't see that. It's just about making money. It's just about microtransactions. And going back to the Diablo Immortal um, controversy, I don't believe it's wrong for gamers, these type of people who have been invested in this franchise for a long time, who have put their soul into this franchise, who've kept it alive. I mean, I've seen too many games be abandoned by developers and publishers so quickly after they were launched. It is a travesty. This is an industry that I believe can make a cinema, a cinema of the 21st century, and it's being held back by this kind of an industry that's being taken over by shareholders rather than by the people who actually cared about the games, the modders who kept Half-Life alive, um, and continue to mod Half-Life 2, people who continue to support games like StarCraft, people who continue to support games even after they were launched and abandoned, buggy, and broken. They went in there, they released their own patches, and they kept those games alive. The mobile games, they're not like that. They don't have the same community input. It's all about money and releasing tons of essentially shovelware on the market, and it's atrocious. I have never played Diablo. I will one day try my hand at playing the game, but the games. But I mean, this seeing the reaction and seeing the kind of people who are trying to make an excuse for this company, Blizzard, for their utter lack of respect for the fans by trying to outsource um, this game to a Chinese company and then trying to, reskinning something and then selling it as a mobile app as like the hot new thing is atrocious. I mean, mobile phones are more powerful, yes, but they are, I mean, they can't put a powerful video card in there that can run very demanding games. I mean, it just can't happen. I mean, to be honest, here's the thing. I mean, with mobile apps, it's much harder to go and mod them, right? So you can't say, well, I bought this game. I don't like that they remove some of the dialogue. I want a mod that puts some of that back in. They go to a site, they get a mod for it. Boom. Their game experience has been enhanced by the people, by the fans, not the developers who would charge you for the mod, but actually people who went in there and made it their own, and they're selling it. I mean, not selling it, but they're literally providing it on on these these mod sites. You can't do that with a mobile game. With a mobile game, if you want more content, you always have to provide the credit. You have to go in there and press that microtransaction button. You can't just easily get a mod. That's why the developers and the publishers want to go to this model. And not just that, they want to implement the same model as pay to win, or games as a service, or make you pay monthly for a game so that they can use the same microtransaction model on regular games. So what it's doing is they're trying to make games in this commodity. They're taking away the artistic element from it. It's all about money. Of course, money is important. You need money. You need capital to make these labor intensive, well, maybe I would say mental intensive projects. But it's an utter travesty. And anybody supporting this, I would absolutely tell you this, that the more you support this, the worse the industry is going to get. Well, we have some games that, come out of, a couple years, right? Like Red Dead Redemption 2 or whatever. But I mean, what I noticed is that when I was a young guy, I noticed how many games were being released every month. Now it's going down to a trickle. I mean, some of the indie games, yes, but a lot of indie games are backward looking. They don't really do anything new. I'm not saying that's for all the indie games, but a lot of them are backward looking. And I feel like, that they tend to be kind of like put into this role of appealing to old sensibilities. Um, and one could say, "Oh, but you're trying to appeal to old sensibilities because you want to accept mobile apps." No, most mobile apps are garbage, right? A lot of indie games are quite good. But the thing is, I would like for them to focus on something else than nostalgia, than retro themes. I understand some retro games are like that, but a lot of them are not. And a lot of them are also trash as well, because of the lack of, quality control on Steam and all these on other platforms. But I mean, the mobile apps are even worse than Steam. They're purely money sinks. Do not do not buy this app. Do not even support it. Hold their feet to the fire. Demand that your favorite game developers demand that they that they try to make sure that mobile apps got to be their own separate thing. If they want to make a mobile app, make sure that it's not a reskin. Make sure they put some effort into it. Just don't make it a money sink. I have yet to play a mobile app game that was graphically intensive that was not a money sink or it was a port from a PC game. All right, I've yet to see something like that. So this is a travesty, and so this really shows how unhealthy the industry really is. I don't care about, that the sales are increasing. The industry all around is becoming more abrasive. The journalism is getting more corrupt. Um, the industry just seems to lack ideas. But the sales keep increasing. But sales are just one thing. The soul, the essence of the industry is dead, and I just don't know what's going to fix that. It's not going to be easy. But you can start by not buying these games. That's what you can do to help this industry.